Most overdoses are witnessed, but some people are afraid to call 911. Waiting or abandoning an overdose victim is the worst possible response. The Good Samaritan law protects you. No one and no work site is safe from the possibility of encountering opiate overdose, and this makes preparedness of the utmost importance. Make the call, save a life. If anything is unclear, come see me. I'm Adam Renko, Director of Emergency Management for the City of Waterbury, and I'm here to help.
Good evening, everyone. We'll call to order the Board of Aldermen meeting for Monday, June 21st, 2021. Just before we get started, I want to note that if you hear music in the background, we're not having a party here, but outside of City Hall is the Make Music event that's going on today. So that goes on, I think, until 8 o'clock. If you haven't had a chance to go down and you can get down there, you should stop down and see it. There's some food vendors and it's a very nice event. But we'll probably hear a little bit for the next hour or so. With that, if we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a silent prayer.
United States of America, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Alderman Brunelli. Alderman Brunelli.
Present.
Alderwoman Cavallo.
Present.
Alderwoman Cotto.
Present.
Alderman Digio Riampalo.
Here.
Alderman Dorso.
Here.
Alderman Hunter.
Here.
Alderman Lopez.
Here.
Alderman Markey.
Here.
Alderman Matthews.
Here.
Alderwoman Martinez McCarthy.
Here.
Alderman Nugent.
Present.
Alderman Salvio.
Present.
Alderwoman Weaver.
Here.
Alderwoman Zimmerman.
Present.
Alderman Pernaruski.
Here.
15 present.
Thank you. We have a quorum. The first item would be the presentation from the Interchange Mixmaster Reconstruction Program. But before we get to that, unless there's an objection, we're going to change the order and do public speaking. Given the fact that people are calling in, I'm afraid that we'll have problems if we leave them too long waiting to get a call back. So we'll go now to public speaking and then we'll do the presentation. So if we get the first speaker on the line. Okay, speaker,
Hello?
are you there?
I am. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Hi. Sharon Samoska from 45 Pear Street in Waterbury. I'm asking to speak tonight regarding the Greenway. I am very glad that it looks like it's finally going to move ahead. As the Board of Aldermen in the city consider the contracts and expenditures for the project, what are the responsibilities and obligations of the company and of the city to make sure this project is an ongoing positive one during and after construction? Have the original plans been reviewed and updated prior to commencement? Where is the 7-acre park and the parking area at Platts Mill and South Main Street Junction? This is a new part for the project. What is the plan for safety of pedestrians crossing streets? What studies have been done for odors and chemicals admitted into the environment from the wastewater plant? I've noticed with the climate change and the first heat wave of this year already that the sewage odors were stronger and on weekends they were worse. What is the disaster plan if the sewage treatment plant overflows into the river or some other hazard occurs? Would the greenway be shut down, and who would do that? The Bristol Babcock site, which is adjacent to the greenway as it appears now, is hazardous, dangerous, and openly accessible. It also sits as a site in a good position for being some part of that greenway project, as it is on the river and you've got wildlife right there. Truck traffic is a huge concern since the original plans, because it has increased heavily, but I don't believe at this point I've seen any data from F&G which is accurate for the total number of trucks, every truck in and out, to include the city garbage trucks, the F&G trucks, and any outside companies using the plant. If there is a large increase, which there seems to be, how does this affect the greenway? South Main Street is going to be going from 2 lanes in each direction to 1. What is the safety for those using the greenway with that increase? Accidents, safety of children and pets, spills, debris from the trucks, odors, air pollution. As of today, I'm still confused. Who is responsible for traffic control on South Main Street, state or local police? I have followed an F&G truck releasing paper and leaves on my car. Trucks often do not stop for the light at South Main and Platts Mill. In the last 2 weeks, out of about 7 to 8 times going through this area, I was making a left turn from Platts Mill to South Main on my green light. Cars have gone through red lights, with the other day one passing car stopped at the light and nearly hitting us broadside. What can be done about that to protect our safety? If this is going to a city road versus a state road, is our police department adequately staffed to handle that? What are the liabilities for the city or the contractor during construction, or if there is a hazard on the trail? Who is responsible for wildlife preservation and protection of both animals and pedestrians, and for protection of the environment, meaning garbage or things that people might throw out that are hazardous? What is the role of DEEP in all of this? Will there be rest stations or any public water fountains? On the Platts Mill area, we have Connecticut water and not city water service. These are my main questions. There are others. I believe the greenway can be and should be a great enhancement for our city and part of the better branding efforts. I am asking you, the Board of Aldermen, to follow through on this project to be sure the expenditure of over $7 million is utilized as wisely as it can be for the best possible outcome and a favorable outcome, and to protect the city from any potential liability that could be encountered without your skillful review. And I thank you for the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Get the second caller on the line.
Oh, yes. Could you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, Martin Spring, 1400 Meriden Road, Waterbury. First of all, I would like to say that right now I'm talking to you guys, and I can still hear the lady talking. So obviously, Paul, I got to turn my TV down. Okay, I can't wait till we go face to face because this is going to be really weird over here. Hey, listen, I want to wish all you fathers out there a belated Father's Day, each and every one of you. Okay, and also I'm sorry to hear the Mac Chief of Staff left. Mac was really good with us, especially with the Waterville Community Club, as you know, Paul. He worked with us on many projects, many issues, and plus a lot of times I would call him up on a variety of things, if you will, and he'd always get back to me, and no matter what time it was, and most of the time I would call him in the afternoon, not late at night, because I know a lot of people have to rest. But again, I'm just going to tell you, I wish him well, and I hope the very best for him. He's a young man, and he did a lot, and I did appreciate everything he did for us. Okay, I was going to say that another thing I want to talk about is the $5.6 million in change of taxpayers' money for a 2.1-mile Naugatuck River Greenway project. I had some concerns and reservations about that, And I'm just going to read them off to you. I don't have a lot of time here, but I'm concerned about security there. I'm very concerned about the lighting in the area. Maybe we could hook up some type of solar lights if we can. ATVs and dirt bikes right in the trails at will. Panhandlers, homeless people camping out around the greenway, and maybe even muggers having a field day. And not saying that to be disrespectful, but I just think we should take that in consideration. You members of the Board of Aldermen should realize what I'm saying, and it's very important, and listen to what the city residents have to say, especially us taxpayers, because again, there's no free lunch. We all got to pay for something. But again, when you guys put this project together, I'm pretty sure you're going to vote on it tonight. I know it's long overdue. It's been on the docket since 2007, and it's something that I know it's probably like 14 years later. So I just hope before the Board of Aldermen votes on this, you'll take serious, with my comments, not insults, but objections, and take that in consideration. And I know, the gentleman that's Sal Porzio that's doing a fine job. I know Sal for a long time. He's a good guy, and he's a longtime friend of mine. Also, I want to say on number 20 on your docket, requesting approval of a high amount of $1,981,350 for odor control system improvements at the water pollution control facility. If I'm not mistaken, then we go around this area before. I believe Larry DePillo, former Alderman Larry DePillo, brought it up that we spent an awful lot of money, and I guess there was a few incidents down there, and I think some people might even got hurt down there, if I'm not mistaken. But it seems like we're kind of like chasing the cat's chasing the tail around, and we just keep spending our money. And I just hope this time we spend it wisely, because down there, I'm not speaking for the VFW, but I am a member down there. Michael knows that. And by the way, Michael, thank you for your service. I meant to tell you that on Memorial Day, and many other veterans out there. Listen, by the way, there's a good article in the paper with the Observer with you, Michael. I do appreciate it. I showed it to some of my friends, reenactors, and they're also veterans too, and they liked it very much. And so I just want to let you know that, Michael. I appreciate what you did in Vietnam. Believe me when I tell you.
1 minute, Mr. Spring.
Okay, I didn't know I had 1 minute left. Okay. All right. Well, listen, anyways, I just hope we spend the money wisely when it comes to, the filtration plant, water filtration plant. And we got to really pay attention to that, because the reason why I mentioned the VFW is because we're down there in the South End, and I know a lot of our veterans don't go outside for that reason, because they're very much concerned about the odor down there. And I also wanted to say that, now I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, that's unusual for me. But the thing is that I just want to remind everybody, and I got 1 minute, I just want to say this. The Waterville Community Club meets the third Thursday of every month now in the old Waterville Firehouse at 6:30, so we did change the time. And I want to thank you guys for all you do, and I appreciate everything you guys do. And have a good night. And thank you very much. Take care. Bye.
There's no other callers? Okay. Okay, there's no further callers, so the next item then on the agenda would be the scheduled presentation for the new Mix Master Interchange Reconstruction Program. We're going to hear from Christopher Pagan from HNTB on behalf of the DOT. So, Mr. Pagan, I'll hand it over to you. Are you there?
Actually, Alderman Scott Roberts with DOT.
Okay.
I'm going to start off the presentation, if that's all right.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Well, first off, I'd like to thank everyone for having us here tonight. Anna, if you can stay on the, that's fine. That's fine. Just stay right there. So we have a little presentation here for you tonight, obviously. Give you an idea of what we've been working on for the past few years, looking at some options potentially for the full replacement of the I-84 Route 8 Mix Master Interchange program we're calling the new Mix. Anna, if you can flip forward. Thank you. So part of our agenda, I will introduce the team, the project team that's been working on this. We have a little history of the Mixmaster in the presentation. We'll give you an idea of the new mix program, what it's all about. We'll talk a little bit about our plans for public involvement as we move forward. And at the end, we'll take some questions and comments. I know we have a limited amount of time, so try to get through this fairly quickly. You jump to the next one. So our leadership team, the project team consists of, on the Connecticut Department of Transportation side, Michael Calabrese is our division chief for highway design. I introduced myself, Scott Roberts, I'm the project manager. Mr. Jonathan Dean is the project engineer. For our consultant, we hired a consulting firm, HNTB, and they are conducting a lot of the study, doing the data collection, analysis, things like that. So Jake Argiro is our project manager on that side. David Schweitzer is the deputy project manager. Christopher Fagan is project engineer, and Anna Mariotti is our public information specialist. So a little bit of background here in this timeline, as you can see. So we started out back in 2017 and we held some stakeholder meetings. It was our intention by the end of the year to meet with the Board of Alders. But in early 2018, we got a fiscal warning from our senior management at DOT. And we were told to look at some what we call fiscally constrained alternatives. What that means was we were looking at what another future major rehab would look like. We did that for most of 2018, made a big presentation to the senior management, and it turned out that it wasn't really a great idea due to cost and, basically working on a structure that would be 80 years old at that point. So we went back to looking at some full build alternatives. That's kind of what we've been doing since then. In early 2019, kind of in the top of this, in the middle of this, the timeline, you can see a transition to a PEL. And we'll explain what that is during the presentation, but it's a planning and environmental linkage approach, which allows us to combine a couple of phases, hopefully shave some time off the study. We're looking at some potential early actions. We're doing some traffic constructability, layout analyses, and we hope to wrap up this PEL sometime in late 22, maybe early 23, where we'll be heading into a full-blown NEPA analysis and starting some designs. So with that, I'll turn it over to David Schweitzer from HNTB, and he'll give you a little background on the history of the Mixmaster.
Okay, thank you. The Mixmaster is a prominent feature within the city. Next slide, please. It's a 4-level full system interchange with stacked structures on I-84 and Route 8 to the south. I-84 runs in east-west direction, comes off the High Ridge Line to the west, crosses the river, and heads to the south of the center of the city, while Route 8 is along the west side of the Naugatuck River, running in a north-south direction. And both of these roadways have multiple service interchanges. So as we go through this, one thing to remember is a system interchange is when we are going from Route 8 to I-84 or vice versa. And a service interchange is when we're going from one of these main lines down to the local level or back up onto one of these main lines. So next slide, please. So the Mixmaster was constructed over a number of projects, and it took almost 20 years to build this. And there are over 60 structures within this area. Next slide. And in this, over time, there have been a lot of steel repairs, a lot of deck repairs, deck joints. So a lot of repair projects and a lot of improvements that have taken place over this time. Most notably lately, it was the completion of the I-84 widening project to the east, which now allows 3 through travel lanes in each direction between Waterbury and Hartford. And then we have the current rehab project. Whoops, one more up ahead, I believe, Anna. Yep, thank you. Where we are replacing the decks on both Route 8 structures, and we're repairing the decks on all the others. And this is including a lot of deck ends and joint repairs. We're also doing steel strengthening repairs on all the bridges, as well as repairs to the substructures. The goal of this is to add 25 years of service life to the Mixmaster until we are ready to reconstruct it. Next slide, please. Now, we have gone through our data collection and our analysis in needs and deficiency phase, and we found out a lot of things. I mean, this interchange was innovative when it was designed and when it was built. It was innovative for its smaller footprint because we had the narrower shoulders and the stacked structures. It had cost savings because we limited the amount of structure with the left-hand on and off ramps. And also there was a lot of access provided to the local roadways with the number of interchanges that we had on this. But things have evolved. There are changes to the way we design roads and bridges today. We have new and improved guidelines for safety, operations, and design. So we know what's safer, what requires less maintenance, and what reduces traffic congestion. But also, since it opened, traffic has increased a lot more than anticipated, and trucks have gotten bigger and stronger, and they transport heavier loads across these bridges. So with these bridges, of the 60, they will be 75 to 80 years old in the year 2045 when we're looking at the reconstruction. There are fatigue-prone details on these, and there are deck ends that are continually being repaired and replaced. The geometry out there with the limited shoulder widths, with the left-hand on and off ramps, with this tight interchange spacing, and with some of the tighter radii on the roadways, and then along with the traffic congestion, this leads to a lot of crashes out there. Next slide, please. So with these deficiencies and the increased traffic, we're experiencing a higher crash rate than normal in this area. And this is because we have a lot of merges, diverges, and weaves. So there's a lot of speed differential between vehicles, and there are a lot of decisions being made. So we're looking to improve this. But the Mixmaster does have a regional importance. Next slide, please. As you can see, entering New England, I-90 runs to the north and through upper state New York, while I-95 comes up the East Coast line up through into New England. But this goes through a lot of major cities. So a lot of this traffic will funnel off to I-81 via I-80 and then get to I-84, which brings us right through Waterbury. And that's why this is an important project. And now to talk more about where we're going forward with the new mix is Jake Argiro.
Thanks, David. So, Anna, why don't we jump to the next slide? So the new mix program is a long-term planning study that looks to find a solution as to how to reconstruct the interchange. As it's reaching the end of its lifespan, it's anticipated that this will be phased over time with the overall goal to modernize and improve the safety and functionality, as well as reduce congestion and align the project with the city's economic development and community goals. Next slide. So not only are we looking at the interchange, the interstate itself, but the study area extends beyond and examines a wide range of design options. We have considerations for setting the study area that included the entrance and exit limits for the interchange, major arterial intersections, as well as the cultural and historic resources in the area. We've also looked at the local function and with the local road function with the interchange is also being looked at. Next slide. So one of the real interesting things we found in our early investigation of the traffic volumes, we knew that the Mixmaster, as David spoke about in the 1960s, was designed to accommodate approximately 100,000 motor vehicle trips per day. And that was using a 1975 projected volume. Now we're at 190,000 motor vehicle trips per day that occur along the interchange. And we use a projected volume for the full reconstruction for 2045 is estimated to be at 225,000 motor vehicle trips per day. Combined with the operational deficiencies, this creates less than ideal conditions for present day. Now, the interesting thing is, additionally through our study, is we found that approximately 35% of the motor vehicles enter and exit the interchange within the study area, showing that people are using the interchange to get from one side of the city to the other. And what I mean by the limits of the interchange is our study area that we showed on the previous slide. So Vanna, could go to the next slide. So Scott alluded to a brief study that we did, which would look at what would the next major rehabilitation be. So the existing structure, which is currently undergoing the major rehabilitation, is anticipated to reach the end of its projected service life in approximately 20 to 25 years. At that point, the concrete deck on the bridges will need to be replaced. They'll be, at that point, 80 years old. The continued rehabilitation and repair will no longer make sense as an economic or structural life cycle perspective, and the replacement will likely be the most logical long-term solution. So with intensive rehabilitation projects scheduled to begin, the Connecticut DOT turned its attention to the longer-term planning for the Mixmaster, in which we looked at the major rehabilitation costing approximately $1 billion, or in today's dollars, or approximately $2 billion in 2045 dollars. And it created challenges and inefficiencies, because what we were doing to replace the concrete deck would impact traffic tremendously. Looking at approximately 16-hour lane closures occurring near every day for a 4-year period of time. Highly impactful, not very efficient, at a high cost, would leave us with new concrete decks with the same inefficiencies, the same congestion, higher traffic volumes, as well as existing or 80-year-old structural steel and concrete that the rest of the bridge would be founded on. So we decided to look or continue our study to look at other reconstruction options. So Anna, if you go to the next slide. So we're taking a phased approach, as Scott talked about earlier. And this phased project approach is a more manageable approach because it allows for the preparation and the distribution of funding for other major projects in the state. It will be less intense traffic impacts by constructing the improvements over a period of time. And it'll lessen traffic on the interchange with incremental improvements that we'll look to employ earlier in the phases. And many of these early projects will have minimal traffic disruption. And the long-term projects for the reconstruction of the interchange are largely intended to be built offline in a new alignment, allowing the traffic to be maintained through much of the construction. So I'm going to go into a little more detail on the next slide about the types of projects we're talking about. So the early action projects, these are locally, generally local projects that focus on local roads, intersections that can be incorporated to reduce some of the volume, some of the traffic that jumps onto the interchange to get across town. The near-term projects are generally focusing on the outer legs of the interchange that can be initiated in advance of the core of the interchange, where the crossroads and the service routes, service ramps occur. And then the long-term projects, that includes the mainline Interstate 84, Route 8, and the system connections that would be intended to be completed around the 2045 mark or beyond. And these projects focus on that core of the interchange. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Anna to talk through our approach to public involvement.
So our approach to public involvement is to reach as wide of a range as Waterbury's population as possible, even in the very early beginning phases of the planning, which is occurring now. How we intend to do that is by being inclusive. What you see on the screen right now is just a very high level overview of the different groups we're going to hit and engage for outreach. It's high level, but it will also be very, very much grassroots, Waterbury resident based with community organizations, neighborhood groups, etc. involved. We also, our intent to make sure we're wide ranging is to also be accommodating. And to be accommodating, there'll be many different ways that people who want to learn about the project, stay up to date on the project, ask questions about the project, and provide input. There's many ways they're going to be able to do that. Of course, we will have the regular public meetings. We will also have stakeholder group meetings, which will be groups of people, groups from similar perspective, for example, large employers or immediate abutters, whether they're residents or businesses. We will also have a project advisory committee, and that is a little more time consuming, but not at all intense. That's not our intent. It's just for people who want to be more involved, there's an option for them as well. Despite all of these different ways for people to stay involved and learn about and give input on the project, all of the input, no matter how it's received, will be weighed the same. That's important to note. And of course, there's people who might not want to go to any meetings, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be able to learn about the project, ask questions, and provide input. And to make sure we reach those people, we will have a project website, of course, that will be updated regularly. We will have emailed newsletters that provide updates about the project, social media, but also people will be able to ask questions and leave comments on the website itself. So that's just a high level overview of our plans to make sure that we engage and the public and keep them involved throughout. But with that, I will turn it back over to Scott and any questions and comments you may have.
Do any of the aldermen have questions that you'd like to ask at this point? No? Then hearing none, I want to thank you all for coming and doing the presentation this evening. It's very informative, and I'm sure we'll be in touch as the project moves forward. I don't know if you have anything to add in parting or.
No, again, I'd like to thank everyone for your time. Obviously, we will be communicating with you again. This won't be the one and done. So you'll have more opportunity, and we will make ourselves available as well. Alderman, if anybody thinks of anything and wants to contact us, I know we can reach out through Judy or whoever to get our contact information to you. I think someone has it anyway, because we got an invite from the city for this meeting. So I think you have our email addresses. That's typically the best way to get a hold of any of us right now, but you can certainly email me anytime, and we'll make every effort to get back to you quickly.
Great. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
With that, the next item on our agenda this evening is the approval of minutes for the meeting of Monday, June 7th, 2021, and the meeting of Tuesday, June 1st, 2021, which was the budget public hearing. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion with respect to the minutes?
So moved.
Alderman Lopez?
A second.
Motion to approve the minutes having been made and seconded. Are there any changes to the minutes? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the minutes as presented. A no vote will be to disapprove. Can I ask everybody who stopped speaking just to put yourselves on mute, because we're getting, thank you, a lot of background noise. A yes vote will be to approve the minutes as read. A no vote will be to disapprove them. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the minutes are approved. Before we go into the committee of the whole, there's just a couple of items to address on the agenda. First, the Finance Department did the removal of item number 17 from our agenda this evening, which was the request for a summer youth employment program agreement with Northwest Regional Workforce Investment Board. The reason it's being withdrawn is that the city has identified a different source of funding, and that contract with that funding source will be submitted in July. So the program is going forward. There's just a different funding source that they can use, and they prefer to do that one. So we'll be going down, we'll be getting that back in July. There's also 3 items to be added to the agenda. As you all know, we're not, in July, we have only one meeting, which is on the 19th. So we're not coming back for basically a month. And these are issues that need to be addressed within that time frame. So I would entertain a motion ultimately for that we add as item number 22, a Tiger Grant agreement between the City of Waterbury and the United States Department of Transportation for the Waterbury Active Transportation and Economic Resurgence Project. That we add as item number 3, a 2021 Local Law Enforcement Crime Gun Intelligence Center Integration Initiative, which has no matching funds or upfront costs, but would be a funding award of up to $700,000. And item number 4, which is a BJA Fiscal 21 prosecuting cold cases using DNA. The grant would be funding of up to $470,000 with no matching or upfront costs. So with that, Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion with respect to adding those 3 items to the agenda?
Motion to add all 3 items to the agenda.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
The motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote would be to, Alderman Lopez?
Yeah, just a point of clarification. I think you meant item 22, 23, and 24.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. You said 3 and 4, so I just want to make sure.
So, sorry, 22, 23, and 24, correct.
Thank you.
A yes vote would be to add those items, a no vote would be not to add them. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the 3 items are added. With that, Alderman Brunelli, I would entertain a motion that we resolve ourselves into a committee of the whole.
So moved.
Alderman Lopez.
Second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries. And we're sitting now as a committee of the whole. First item on the agenda this evening is the submission of the follow-up audit of the Silas Bronson Library dated December 30th, 2020, completed by the Audit Department, receive and place on file. Item number 2 is the engineering services agreement for the intersection realignment of Walnut East Farm and North Walnut Streets between the City of Waterbury and SLR International Corporation. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 2.
Alderman Lopez.
I second.
The motion having been made and seconded, are there any questions? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the engineering services agreement. A no vote will be to disapprove it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously, and the agreement is approved. Item number 3 is an engineering services agreement for the traffic signal revision, the intersection of East Main Street and Brass Mill Drive between the City of Waterbury and SLR International Corporation. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 3.
Alderman Lopez.
I second.
The motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion?
I have a
Alderman
question.
Lopez?
Thank you for recognizing me, Mr. President. Mr. Porcio, I just have a quick question. How does a an RFQ, which in this case items 2 and 3 actually are under the same RFQ, which is 6794. They're different projects. So how does that work, that one entity actually gets to bid on different projects, but under the same RFQ?
Excuse me, Alderman. Actually, this relates to a question you had asked me a couple years back. This RFQ was for on-call services. And we used to call the contracts on-call services for a project, and it was confusing. But these firms were chosen under in the package, there's a list of approximately 20 disciplines that we asked firms to apply for, and then they were selected by the committee. We picked 3 firms for each discipline. But within that, so under that discipline, the point of the on-call was to be able to use these firms for anything that came up. Like this is a state grant that we received for these 2 projects. Under the state grant, we have to pay for the design, but the state or the feds will pay 90% of the construction. So that's why, but we don't call it on-call engineering services. I remember you asking me about that in the past.
Okay, that makes sense. So that PDF that has the list of almost 25 different entities, that
Correct.
PDF out of that entire list, you selected or the committee selected 3 different entities that are considered on call when these services are needed?
Correct. And this
Got
is
it.
for engineering, also for WPC. We've expanded the list. I think last time there were 20. Now, or we doubled the list of disciplines.
Okay, I got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any further discussion or any other questions? Hearing none, then the motion on the table is to approve the agreement. A yes vote will be to approve the agreement. A no vote will be to disapprove it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries and unanimously, and the agreement is approved. Item number 4 is the Office of Community Development of the City of Waterbury requesting approval of the CD year 47, 2021 to 2022 annual action plan, and authorize Mayor O'Leary to submit the plan and execute any and all related documents. Alderman Brunelli.
Motion to approve item number 4.
Alderman Lopez.
I cannot second. I will be recusing myself.
Okay. Alderman Martinez McCarthy.
Second.
Motion having been made and seconded. Before we do that, Alderman Lopez, is there any discussion? Alderman Lopez, I'll recognize you.
Thank you for recognizing me, Mr. President. As the Executive Director of the nonprofit Hispanic Coalition and a proud member of the Finance Committee at New Opportunities, I will have to recuse myself from voting on this item.
Anything further? Any other discussion?
Mr. President, I also have to recuse myself.
Okay. Anything further? Anyone else? Any further discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the CD year 47 annual action plan and authorize the mayor to execute the necessary documents. A no vote will be to disapprove that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the record will reflect that Alderman Lopez and Alderwoman Weaver have recused themselves and did not participate in this vote. Item number 5 is a construction contract in the amount of $5,659,398.80 for the Waterbury Naugatuck River Greenway Phase 1 between the City of Waterbury and Dayton Construction Company, Incorporated. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 5.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, are there any questions?
I have a question, Mr. President.
Alderman Newsham?
Thank you for recognizing me, Mr. President. I had a constituent reach out to Alderwoman Cavallo and myself with some questions, if I may. Is there someone here to speak on that item agenda?
Yeah, Mr. Porcio's here. He'll be able to answer the questions.
I'll do my best, sure.
Okay, thank you. The location of that park, there's 7 acres that's available across from the old Howard Johnson's in that area. Is that where it's going to be?
Yes, it will be on that corner. It was Marion Niederman who donated the property. And in the city of Waterbury, your property line goes out to the middle of the river. So it's technically 7 acres if you count that area. So it's a little less than 7 acres. But it will be that corner, and it will be a passive recreational park. It will be nature trails. There'll be a kayak launch. There'll be a monument to identify the place where the Native American history, the artifacts were found. But it will be passive. There won't be any tennis courts or basketball courts.
Okay. They also asked, what police department is responsible for that stretch? Because South Main Street is state roads. Would it be our local Waterbury police or state police?
That honestly, I don't know. I know that our police would be responsible for the park because that's city property now.
Okay.
Roadway, I'm not sure how that.
So if something happens, God forbid, within the Greenway, it would be the Waterbury police that will be responding.
I would believe so, but I can't say for certain.
Yes, because that's city property, so it'd be no different than any other city property or private property in the city. The state police would maintain jurisdiction over the state routes, and they, in some sense, I think they share that with the city police.
Okay. So I was reading the questions I had written down. And obviously, one of the questions she asked was, it's not going to interfere with any wildlife preservation or protection that are currently in that area or would have in place?
No, actually, the plans that were reviewed by state DEP and the Army Corps. And the Army Corps actually made us change the plans a little bit because if you may be taking out too many trees, and that would put more sun onto the water, and it would adversely affect certain species of fish. So this thing has been looked at from environmental aspects.
The little things that you don't think about until you ask that question, right?
Right.
Obviously F&G was one of her concerns. That's up the street. I can't recall. I think we allowed them for about 75 trucks a day to pass through there. Is that correct? From Platts Mill to South Main to go on Route 8. Is that going to have any hindrance on this project?
I honestly, I don't recall the numbers from that contract from whenever that was for F&G. But the road design actually, I believe, will slow traffic down because it's going to, there'll be one lane instead of two, and it will be more of a deterrent. People won't be able to speed as much. As for the trucks, I mean, that's a local or state enforcement concern about the speed limit. And that could be any road.
Now, is the trail going to be designed for at night walking? As in, is it going to be illuminated or lit up? And, if it is, how often, how far apart is each light type of thing?
No, Alderman, it's actually the trail. In the 14 years I've been on the project, it's been a dawn to dusk trail, which is most trails are that way. Lights at night will just attract people. And
appreciate it.
It's going to be like most other trails, dawn to dusk.
Is it? Okay, perfect. I appreciate your responses to the answers. Thank you.
Alderman Lopez.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Further discussion? No, thank you. I just want to say, having been involved from the very beginning with the Greenway and sat on the advisory committee, it's nice to see that it's finally coming to fruition. It's been a long time. I know Ms. Niedermeyer was part of the original advisory group and had donated that property and was very anxious to see it utilized. So I'm glad we're starting down at that side and that we're finally getting it underway. And I look forward to completing this phase and then the rest of it all the way up to Thomaston so we can connect up. But with that, if there's no further discussion, a yes vote will be to approve the construction contract. A no vote will be to disapprove it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the contract is approved. Item number 6 is an agreement for construction and administration and resident engineer inspection services in the amount of $1,542,120.91 for the Greenway Phase 1 project between the city and Malone and McBroom Incorporated. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 6.
Alderman Lopez?
A second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the agreement for construction administration and resident engineering services. A no vote will be to disapprove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the agreement is approved. Item number 7 is requesting approval of the amendment number 1 for subgrantee services under the school readiness program with the following agencies: the ARC Child Development Center, Catholic Charities, the Children's Community School, Children's Village, Easter Seals Children Academy East, West, and Children's Center, the Greater Waterbury YMCA, NVCC Child Development Center, Muriel Moore Child Development Center, St. Mary's Hospital Child Development Center, Team Incorporated at Slocum School, and the Waterbury Board of Education. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion with respect to the amendment?
Motion to approve item number 7.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, are there any questions? Any discussion? Hearing none, then
Mr.
a...
President,
I'm sorry.
I think I need to recuse myself from this also
Okay,
because of the Muriel Moore Center.
okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the amendment for the subgrantee services. A no vote will be to disapprove it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. The amendment is approved, and the record will reflect that Alderwoman Weaver has recused herself from that vote. Item number 8 is a partner agreement with the Relay Graduate School of Education for a 3-year period and the not-to-exceed amount of $15,000 for Relay Teaching Residency Alternate Route to Certification Program. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 8.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, a yes vote will be to approve, a no vote will be to disapprove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment, the motion carries unanimously and the agreement is approved. Item number 9 is a professional services agreement with PTSMA Incorporated, doing business as Select Physical Therapy for a 3-year period in the not-to-exceed amount of $470,000 to provide athletic trainer services for interscholastic athletics. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 9.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
The motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, a yes vote will be to approve the professional services agreement. A no vote will be to disapprove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously, and the professional services agreement is approved. Item number 10 is an agreement with Cooperative Education Services for a 3-year period in the not-to-exceed amount of $263,177 to provide transition services to students with disabilities. Alderman Lopez, is there a motion?
A motion to approve the item as read.
Alderman Brunelli?
Second.
I'm ready.
Thank you, guys, for running with that. Is there any discussion? Alderman Lopez?
Thank you for recognizing me, Mr. President. I just want to make sure that items 8 through item 15 were actually approved by the Board of Education at their meeting conducted on June 17th.
Yes. So at this point, as we've done in the past, we allow the items to come on the agenda pending a meeting that's going to be in the interim from when the cutoff is on the agenda to when we actually meet, providing that they meet in the interim, which they have done in this case. So they took this up at their meetings last Thursday.
So we have confirmation that all these items were actually approved at that meeting.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Any other questions? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the agreement with Cooperative Education Services. A no vote will be to disapprove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the agreement is approved. Item number 11 is an agreement with Ed Advance for a 3-year period in the not to exceed amount of $281,271.90 to provide transition services to students with disabilities. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 11.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, are there any questions or any discussion? Alderman Markey?
This is a wonderful program. I work for Post University where this program goes on. I've had some of these students actually transition into my program. I have checked with corporate counsel, and I am aware that I can vote on this. But with that being said, because of perception, I'd like to recuse myself from this going forward. And at the same time, I would hope that we could take this off the consent calendar once I hope it makes it there.
Alderman Markey, I just want to tell you, if you're going to recuse yourself, we can take it off consent, but you really shouldn't say anything to influence the vote once you've recused yourself. It defeats the entire purpose. So.
Well, I was just doing it for perception, but thank you, sir.
Yep, I appreciate it. So, okay, so is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the agreement with Ed Advance. A no vote will be to disapprove it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. The agreement is approved, and the record will reflect that Alderman Markey has recused himself from that vote. With respect to item number 12 is an agreement with the Connecticut Institute for the Blind doing business as Oak Hill for a 3-year period in the not to exceed amount of $3,085,417.49 to provide educational services to students with disabilities. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 12.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any
We
discussion?
lost you.
Yeah, I know, I'm back. Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the agreement with the Connecticut Institute for the Blind. A no vote will be to disapprove it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the agreement is approved. Item number 13 is a student intern affiliation agreement with Naugatuck Valley Community College for a 2-year period and at no cost to provide school social work, human services interns. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 13.
Alderman Lopez.
I second.
The motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the agreement with the Naugatuck Valley Community College. A no vote will be to disapprove it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the affiliation agreement is approved. Item 14 is an agreement with the Waterbury Young Men's Christian Association for a 3-year period at no cost to provide transition services for students with disabilities. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 14.
Alderman Lopez.
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the agreement with the YMCA. A no vote will be to disapprove it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the agreement is approved. Item number 15 is a contract with MJ Daly LLC in the not to exceed amount of $228,800 for boiler replacement at Hopeville School. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 15.
Alderman Lopez.
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the contract with MJ Daly LLC. A no vote will be to disapprove it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the agreement is approved. Item number 16 is a demolition contract for 9 and 15 Branch Street in the not to exceed amount of $230,025 between the WDC on behalf of the City of Waterbury and News LLC. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 16.
Alderman Lopez.
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion?
I have a question. Is there someone that can answer it for me?
Yes, Linda, Mike Gilmore.
Hi, Mike. Can you tell me, once this building is torn down, what will be there? Would it be a vacant lot?
No, Pal is going to build a spray pool park there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions or additional discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the demolition contract for 9 and 15 Branch Street. A no vote will be to disapprove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the demolition contract is approved. Item 17 has been withdrawn. Item number 18 is a budget transfer within the city's general budget for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2021 in the amount of $130,000. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 18.
Alderman Lopez.
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the budget transfer or no vote to disapprove it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the budget transfer is approved. Item number 19 is a budget transfer within the city's Water Pollution Control Capital Improvement Fund for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2021 in the amount of $400,000. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 19.
Alderman Lopez.
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the budget transfer. A no vote will be to disapprove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the transfer is approved. Item number 20 is a contract in the amount of $1,981,350 for the odor control system improvements at the Water Pollution Control Facility between the City of Waterbury and Walsh Construction Company, LLC. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 20.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Any questions? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the contract for odor control system improvements. A no vote will be to disapprove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the contract is approved. Item number 21 is a grant application to the United States Department of Justice for the fiscal year 21 Comprehensive Opioid Stimulant and Substance Abuse Site Program. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 21.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve of the application, a no vote to disapprove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the application is approved. Item number 22 is an amendment number 2 to the Tiger Grant between the City of Waterbury and the United States Department of Transportation for the Waterbury Active Transportation and Economic Resurgence Project. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 22.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? I would just note that the reason for this amendment, and it's actually good news, is that the construction of the total Tiger project was completed on time and substantially under budget, and therefore the Federal Highway Administration has agreed to authorize $775,808.63 in grant funds to be utilized to reimburse the city for certain right-of-way and construction inspection costs that were previously paid for with local, or that is city funds. So our local match requirement is reduced from $4,700,000 to $3,611,005.43, which was authorized back in February of 2017. And this amendment is what allows us to secure the $775,808.63 in additional funds. And it also deals with just some technical and administrative details to closing out the grant. So with that, does anyone have any questions or is there any discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve amendment number 2. A no vote will be to disapprove it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the amendment is approved.
Thank you.
Item number 23 is a 2021 Local Law Enforcement Crime Gun Intelligence Center Integration Initiative. The purpose is to support the local capacity to work with their ATF partners to utilize intelligence, technology, and community engagement to swiftly identify unlawfully used firearms and their sources and effectively prosecute perpetrators engaged in violent crime. It's the opportunity is for funding up to $700,000, and it will be implemented over a 36-month period starting on October 1st of 2021. It requires no matching or upfront funding. With that, Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 23.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Anyone have any questions? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the grant. No vote will be, or the application for the grant. A no vote will be to disapprove it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the application for the grant is approved.
Have a safe drive home.
Could I, whoever, if you're not speaking, put yourself on mute because we're getting some background conversations. Thank you. Item number 24 is the BJI fiscal year 21 prosecuting cold cases using DNA grant. It provides funds to prosecute violent crimes, cold cases, and decrease the number of violent crime cold cases away the pending prosecution. The BJA will provide grant funding to support the prosecution of violent crimes and cold cases where DNA from a suspect has been identified and suspects may be known or unknown. The grant is for funding up to $470,000 to be implemented again over a 36-month period, starting on October 1st, 2021, and it also does not require any matching or upfront funding. With that, Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 24.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, are there any questions? Any discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the grant application. A no vote will be to disapprove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the grant application is approved. With respect to standing committees, there's a request for refunds for tax overpayments in the amounts of $3,205.42 and $73,306.58. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the refunds.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the refunds for overpayments. A no vote will be to disapprove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously and the refunds are approved. With that, I would entertain a motion, Alderman Brunelli, to return to the regular order of business.
Mr. President?
Yes, Alderman Lopez.
Mr. President, I cannot recall that we actually accepted or approved the minutes from the last meetings.
Yeah, we did at the beginning, before we went into the committee of the whole.
Okay.
Before we added the items onto the agenda, we did do the minutes for the previous meetings, the budget hearing and the regular meeting of Monday, June 7th.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
No problem. Thank you. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion with respect to returning to the regular order of business?
So moved.
Alderman Lopez?
A second.
Motion having been made and seconded. Again, if somebody can, anyone who's not speaking, please mute yourselves. Alderman Lopez, is there a second?
A second.
Second. A motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? With that, a yes vote will return us to the regular order of business. A no vote will not. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and we're now sitting in the regular order of business. With that, the following items are on the consent calendar. Item 1 is on consent to receive and place on file. Item 2 is on consent to approve. Item 3 is on consent to approve. Item 5 is on consent to approve. Item 6 is on consent to approve. Item 8 to approve. Item 9 is on consent to approve. Item 10 is on consent to approve. Item 12 is on consent to approve. Items 13, 14, and 15 are on consent to approve. Items 16 is on consent to approve. Item 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 are on consent to approve, as is the request for refunds for tax overpayments in the amounts of $3,205.42 and $73,306.58 are on consent to approve. Item 17 having been withdrawn. Alderman Lopez, is there a motion with respect to the consent calendar?
Paul, did you say 4 and 7 also?
I did not, because those are off consent because we have recusals on those.
Both of those.
Yep. So 4, 7, 11 we'll take up separately.
Motion approved. The consent calendar is read.
Alderman Lopez.
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Or any additions or deletions further to the consent calendar? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the consent calendar as presented, a no vote to disapprove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously, and the consent calendar is approved as presented. With respect to new business item number 4, which is a request for an approval by the Office of Community Development of the City of Waterbury CD Year 47, 2021-22 Annual Action Plan, and to authorize Mayor O'Leary to submit the plan and execute any and all related documents. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 4.
Alderman Lopez, Alderman Martinez McCarthy,
Second.
Alderman Hunter, thank you. Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Alderman Lopez,
I recuse.
thank you. Alderman Weaver,
I recuse myself.
thank you. Anything further? With that, then a yes vote will be to approve item number 4, a no vote to disapprove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries, and the annual action plan and the authorization of the mayor are approved. And the record will reflect that Alderman Lopez and Alderwoman Weaver have recused themselves. With respect to item number 7, which is the review and approval of amendment number 1 for the subgrantee services under the school readiness program. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 7.
Alderman Lopez? Or Alderman Martinez McCarthy, do you need to recuse yourself from that one as well, Alderman?
Yes.
Okay. Alderman Hunter, is there a second?
Second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Alderman Lopez?
I recuse from voting on this item. Thank you.
Alderwoman Weaver?
I also recuse from voting.
Thank you. Anything further? Hearing none, then a yes vote will be to approve the amendment number 1 for the subgrantee services. A no vote will be to disapprove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries, and the amendment is approved. The record will reflect that Alderman Lopez and Alderwoman Weaver have recused themselves from that vote. Item number 11 is an agreement with Ed Advance for a 3-year period in the not to exceed amount of $281,271.90 to provide transition services to students with disabilities. Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 11.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Alderman Markey?
I want to recuse myself from voting on this item.
Thank you. Is there anything further? Hearing none, then a yes vote would be to approve the agreement with Ed Advance. A no vote would be to disapprove it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries. The agreement is approved, and the record will reflect that Alderman Markey recused himself from participating in this vote. With that, we've finished up our business, and I would just note that for July and August, we will only have one meeting. So the next meeting of the board will be Monday, July 19th. And with that, is there anything else for the good of the order? Hearing nothing, then I hope you all have a good several weeks and that we get some nice summer weather and everyone gets outside and get to spend some time together and stays well. So with that, Alderman Brunelli, is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Alderman Lopez?
I second.
Motion having been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We stand adjourned. We'll see you all in 4 weeks. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night.
Waterbury.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Mike.
The Naloxone Overdose Response App, or NORA, is a life-saving tool that can help anyone respond to an opioid-related overdose. Developed by the Connecticut Department of Public Health and InfoLine 211, this tool will help you to identify signs and symptoms of an opioid overdose, the steps to take to respond to that overdose, how to administer all 4 forms of naloxone, and how to report to the state if you have used naloxone to save someone's life. You can also find helpful resources on treatment for people who may be struggling, as well as support services for family and loved ones of that individual. You will also find information about the Good Samaritan law and your protection under that law. To learn more, please visit www.norasaves.com or drugfreect.org. And to learn how to use the app or have more questions answered, you can come see me. I'm Jennifer DeWitt, and I'm the Prevention Coordinator for the City of Waterbury.